Hey guys, the Omit one more time. A very warm welcome and a very good afternoon to all of you. Hope you guys are doing well, right? So, guys, in my previous session, I have talked about so many things. Right now, I'm going to talk about career gap. So, what is career gap? Okay, uh, I know all of you knows that what is career gap, and this is very common term because during pandemic situation we all have faced some issues in our life. Sometimes due to pandemic we need to quit our jobs to take care of our parents. Sometimes the company sacked us for their own benefit. So if you have any career gap in your resume, how you can omit it, how you can fill it. Right now I'm going to discuss about it, so let's get started, guys. Okay, so at first, what is career gap? We need to understand a career gap, gap or employment gap is a period during your career when you were unemployed. This period can range from a few months to several years and may occur for several reasons. Okay, either voluntarily or involuntarily. If prospective employees see a career gap in your resume, they may ask you why the gap exists and why, what are the reasons behind you it, and during this time what you are doing. Okay, so reasons for a career gap, there can be several reasons. There are several reasons you may have for an employment gap, but voluntarily and involuntarily, when explaining these gaps to prospective employers, you want to offer a good reason for them, such as becoming a stay at home parent or caregiver, looking for a new job, being laid off because of organizational changes, furthering your education, taking time off for a medical reason, relocating from one area to other, spending time on personal development, gaining certifications or licensing. Okay, so how to explain gaps in your resume? If you have an upcoming interview with a prospective employer, they may ask you about the gaps in your resume. To explain these gaps, I am going to share some tips with you. So let's get started. Be prepared to talk about it. The first one is to be prepared for the interview and sound confident throughout it. Prepare an answer beforehand for why you have gaps in your resume. Not every employer asks, but if they do, prepare a response that briefly explains the gap and highlights a positive reason for it. Doing so helps you thoroughly prepare for your interviews, so you can focus on discussing your skills and qualifications. Be honest, that is very much needed. The most important thing about explaining career gap is that you are honest. Employees understand that people sometimes need to take time away from their career, so be truthful. Find a way to discuss the gap honestly without going into unnecessary details. For example, a basic template for your answer could be during the time, reasons why you were not employed, what you did during the gap. Returning to work was one of my main priorities and I am ready to do so now. If you left the workplace to be a stay at home parent, okay, you can fill it in the template like this. I have a baby for 4 years ago and decided to be a stay at home mom. During that time, I was able to spend precious time with my family, but I always knew I wanted to return to work now that my daughter is older and I am ready to do that. Okay, so fill the gap. Even if you have a gap in your resume where you were not pursuing a professional career, you were still learning and developing in different ways. Explain to prospective employers what you were doing at that time and how it benefited you. For example, if you were pursuing a new degree or additional certification, mention that and explain how what you learned may make you a stronger worker. Mention how you kept us up with industry trends and news, such as talking to colleagues or attending seminars or courses. Consider and freelance work, volunteer positions you have held, okay, or any other way you have advanced your professional skills. Your goal is to show prospective employers how you have used your time off wisely. Highlight any transferable skills you developed when you were not working, okay. So keep it brief. While it's important to be honest about your employment gap, you may not want to discuss in detail due to personal reasons. Okay, so as soon as you address the gap and explain what you did during that time, steer the conversation away by discussing your skills and qualifications. One way to do this is by encouraging the interviewer to ask you another questions. For example, you can say, I am very interested in sharing further details of my work experience. If the conversation continues to go in a direction you are not comfortable with, tell the interviewer that you would prefer not to go into further detail. Okay, it's best to provide a brief explanation, but if your reasons are personal, you don't have to offer this information. Okay, so tips for minimizing gaps in your career journey. Employers may not notice your employment gaps if you prepare a well written resume or cover letter. Here are some tips you can consider for minimizing gaps in your employment history. Determine which jobs to include. Limiting your resume to one page to the ensure prospective employers can scheme. It means you don't need to include all of your work experience. This benefits those with years, as you won't need to include employment gaps that occurred early in your career. Choose the most relevant and recent roles to include in your resume so you can determine if there are any career gaps you need to explain or whether you can omit them. Omit the months of your employment. If you have small gaps or less than a year in your employment history, you can format this differently by omitting the month from the dates of each role you held. For example, instead of writing that you were a cashier from May 2018 to March 2020, simply write 2018 to 2020. Prospective employers may still ask for more specific dates to access your experience, but this can improve your chances of receiving an invitation to interview if the rest of your resume explains why you are an excellent candidate. Use a different resume. While traditional resumes emphasize your work history by listing each role you held chronologically, there are other formats that won't highlight your career gaps as much. For example, a skill based resume allows you to focus on your relevant skills and achievements rather than your experience. You still include an employment section, but it's toward the end of your resume as it's not the focus, allowing you to minimize career gaps. So guys, these are the things you need to do if you wanted to make your career gap, you wanted to omit your career gap, if you wanted to start over all over again, in PCS Global we are providing the trainings in technologies, and we are always here to help you. If you have any career, any kind of any career gap, if you are looking for a better career opportunity, if you have that mindset that I can't prove myself, no, it's not like that. We are here to help you. In PCS Global there are 1150 plus candidates was working in another industries, was working in IT industry in another CMM level companies, and they are working very successfully. So if you think that it's not possible for me to do, no, it's not like that, guys. Me myself, Mr. Bennett, the brand ambassador of Pension Computer Solutions Global Private Limited, I am suggesting you kindly once communicate with us and get the proper knowledge. Prove your potential one more time, and don't stay in your comfort zone, because that is the prior reason not getting any job. Or don't feel guilty for having any career gap, because it's quite natural to have any career gap. Our life is too long, and in our life we face so many things, and we have so many issues in our life. Sometimes it happens with us. So if you think that I am the one and only person who has that career gap, and I can't prove myself, there is no way to make my career, there is no way to build my career one more time, no, you are utterly wrong. In PCS Global we have seen so many people who has that career gap, they have lots of issues, and sometimes we counsel them, we always try to provide them that support, that expertise knowledge, that technical support, their mental support, psychological support. So don't think that I am not that candidate. You are that next candidate who can prove herself or himself, and we people are always here to help you. In PCS Global we are providing the internship program, we are providing the training, the internship training, the paid internship, unpaid internship programs, our CLP programs, our data science Python programs, our Java full stack development, Salesforce, Java, DevOps, Minstack, Monstack technologies, and all those training programs are very much valuable for each and every one. So if you think that you are that candidate who need to start your career right now, so don't be that person. Don't stay in your comfort zone. Communicate with us, get proper knowledge, start your career journey. And in PCS Global, it's very much glorious moment for us that we always give that support to everyone. So if you need that support, kindly communicate. So this is for now, guys. Bye for now. Have a good day.